All right, good morning, everyone. Surprise.
Good morning, Judge.
Good morning. All right, we'll get this calendar called.
No, this is the jail.
Yes, ma'am.
We had two people that come to court. Three. Actually, it's three.
You mean 3 inmates?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Who are the 3 inmates?
We have Brentwood Corey.
You said Corey is the last name?
No, Brentwood is the last name. First name is Corey.
Oh, Grant. All right, hold on. And why did he just choose not to come? What's the reason he's not there?
I think the deputy said that when he went down there, he was being aggressive and he didn't want to come out of his room.
Grant Woods.
Yes,
Okay.
ma'am.
Judge, which attorney is that that's representing Mitchell? I saw her flash, but I didn't get her name.
It's Karen Pass.
Thank you.
All right. And what's the other 2?
Beltran George, he told him he didn't want to come. He just refused. And also with Gumbala, he said he knew what to do. So that's where he come in into the deputy.
And you said George?
Yes, ma'am. Beltran is the last name.
Okay. Beltran. Hold on, we gotta take one at a time. Beltran. Okay,
Good morning.
Beltran said he wasn't coming to court.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
And Judge, I am Mr. Beltran's attorney.
Okay, we'll deal with this after the calendar call. I'm just making the notes.
Sure. Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. All right. And then the last person you said was Gumbala?
Gumbala. Yes, ma'am. Maydeen.
Okay. All right, got it. I made a notation. All right, we'll call the calendar.
Yes, ma'am.
All right, State of Georgia versus Akinziwi Akinji.
State will be ready, Your Honor.
That's a pretty call, Judge.
Alicia Asbury.
State will be ready.
Same announcement, Judge.
State of Georgia versus Timothy Barnes.
State will be ready. Your Honor, who was that?
That was Craig, Mr.
Thank
Lewis.
you. Thank you.
All right, Beltran, he said he's not coming to court. We'll circle back to that.
Your Honor, who's representing him? Is that Mr. Mondelli?
That's right, Ms. Thomas.
Thank you.
State of Georgia versus Thomas Bethia.
State will be ready.
Free trial.
State of Georgia versus Christopher Bird.
State will be ready.
Your
I'm
Honor,
sorry. This is a drug court
paperwork.
waiver.
Mr. Bird's paperwork was emailed to Judge Kate Johnson on Friday.
Oh, she wasn't at work on Friday.
Okay.
You might want to forward it to me if you want to get it signed before.
I will, Judge. Thank you.
All right. All right, I'll mark that as a waiver. State of Georgia versus Montez Kane.
State will be ready.
That's the same announcement, Judge. Paperwork was previously emailed on Friday, so we'll get it over to you this morning.
State of Georgia versus Alexander David.
State will be ready, Your Honor.
I need to hold on that one, Judge.
That's your case.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. State of Georgia versus Dion Davis.
State will be ready.
That may be a hearing, Judge. I need to just speak with Mr. Davis this morning to confirm.
Okay. State of Georgia versus Keon Duggan.
State will be ready.
Good morning, Your Honor. Amber Callan sent an email. She's requesting a continuance.
You said who was that?
Attorney Tiambre Calland.
Spell the last name for me.
Calland.
Okay. Yata, do you have the date for the continuances?
Yes, Your Honor, it's going to be January, January 20th.
January 20th.
Yes.
Is that MLK Day?
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm glad you said that. 22nd.
All right. All right, January 22nd is the date for Duggan. All right, State of Georgia versus Andre Durden.
State will be ready.
Your Honor, I need to pre-try that with ADA Thomas.
State of Georgia versus Kiko Gilbert. No attorney, I guess.
Your Honor, that case was already indicted.
You said that case was what?
Indicted.
Already indicted, Your Honor.
Oh, it's indicted. Okay. Indicted. All right, and State of Georgia versus Mamadine Gumbala. He did not want to come to court. We'll come back to that when we finish the calendar call.
All right, Judge, he didn't want to come to court?
Yeah, that's what the deputy said.
Okay. Interesting.
Yeah. State of Georgia versus Caroline Grant.
State will be ready, Your Honor. It's my understanding that she is possibly represented by Thomas Robinson.
Yeah, Judge, that's what she advised me when I went to see her. I can double check with her, and the court can double check with her this morning. But
All right. Yante, could you check on that? And you said Tony Robinson?
Thomas Robinson.
Thomas
Yes.
Robinson. Okay.
Yes, Your Honor.
Thank you. All right, so we have Corey Greenwood also indicated that he didn't want to come to court, so we'll come back to that when we finish the calendar call. State of Georgia versus Nasir Hammock.
State will be ready.
Judge, we'll need a continuance on that one, please.
All right, and the reason?
Just to kind of further prepare with the holiday, I wasn't able to get the information in time to really prepare for it.
All right, that'll be 122 defendant's request. State of Georgia versus Keith Hampton.
Yeah, I believe this was a consent bond also.
Okay. I'm gonna mark it as a consent. I believe it is. State of Georgia versus Charlie Hardy.
State will be ready.
Your Honor, Mr. Hardy advised that he hired Beverly Taylor when I went to visit him.
Beverly Taylor. Yante, could you check on that, please? State of Georgia versus Christopher Harwell.
State will be ready.
Trial.
Sorry, what'd you say, Mr. Lewis?
Trial.
I think he's saying pre-trial, Your Honor.
Yeah, I caught that at the end. I thought he said trial at first. State of Georgia versus Noel Henry.
State's ready, Your Honor. Officers logged on.
Attorney Lewis.
I'm sorry, I lost the signal. Say it again.
Noel Henry.
Trial.
Okay. State of Georgia versus Lavario Holder.
State will be ready.
Your Honor, that defendant is not assigned to our office.
Yeah, I was looking at that. It says listed on Holtz. And all of these, yeah, they're unless that fleeing is a felony, but it looks like they're all misdemeanors. Okay. Yante, could you put on confirm that fleeing is a misdemeanor, and if it is, put that on the misdemeanor calendar.
Yes, Your Honor.
All right.
If you can give me 1 second, I actually think it's a felony.
It's a felony fleeing?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, we'll come back to that.
There's also something else going on with this, if I'm not mistaken. He has 2 other warrants that for some reason are not on this calendar. They're definitely felonies. One of them is a kidnapping, the other one is a false imprisonment, but the court liked the warrant numbers, and that might be why it's here.
Okay, yeah, what's those warrant numbers?
2024 WA
Mhm.
87844 and 2024 WA 87845.
Okay, so I'll check and see if that's the same factual scenario, and if it is, then we'll have to get him assigned an attorney.
Yes,
Good
ma'am.
morning, Your Honor. This is Deputy Toombs. I'm the officer over that case. This
Okay,
is going to be a felony case, ma'am, in regards to the fleeing and eluding and the other charges along with it. And the kidnapping is going to be included in this case, ma'am.
oh, okay.
Your Honor, the warrant numbers were sequential, so I assume that they did belong, that they were
Oh.
all together.
All right, well, he has to get an attorney assigned, because he had Lister and Holt, so there's nobody here to represent him today.
Your Honor, will the case be reset? And if so, can I excuse my officer?
Yeah, it's gonna have to be reset. He didn't have an attorney, so it'll be January the 22nd.
Deputy Toombs, is that date gonna work for you?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. You're
My-
excused.
Thank you. You all have a good morning. Happy New Year.
All right, same to you. All right, State of Georgia versus Terrion Jackson.
State will be ready, Your Honor.
Your Honor, I'm going to ask the court to hold on this one. When I went to see Mr. Jackson, he advised that his family hired an attorney. And then someone emailed me yesterday saying that they did not. So I have not spoken to him about his case. If I'm not able to resolve it with a bond offer or plea offer this morning, I may have to ask for a continuance.
Okay. State of Georgia versus Luciano Jenkins.
James Bowles for Mr. Jenkins. I'd like a pretrial on that, please.
And Your Honor, before you continue, my name is Rita Williams. I'll be filing an entry, Mr. Bowles, today. I did see your name come up, but I was retained yesterday, Your Honor, and I'm going to file an entry, and we're going to need a reset. I visited with him yesterday.
Okay, well, Mr. Bowles, if that's your only case, you're excused. You can just send the order if you want to. And any objection, Ms. Thomas, for a continuance?
No, Your Honor.
All right, it'll be on January the 22nd.
And will that be 8:30?
Yeah, 8:30.
Thank
Ms.
you.
Williams, what is your first name again, please?
Rita Williams. I'll
Thank
send
you.
everything that you need.
Thank you, Your Honor. Happy New Year.
All right, you too.
And Ms.
All right.
Thomas.
Jenkins and all right, Ms. Williams, well, somebody will see you on the 22nd.
Thank you, Your Honor.
You're welcome. State of Georgia versus David Jesse.
State will be ready, Your Honor. Wait a minute. Your Honor, your last name is Jesse, J.
Yeah, Jessie. David Scott Jesse. Is your announcement still ready? All right.
State will be ready, Your Honor.
Okay, Mr. Rogers.
That's a waiver, Judge.
Okay. State of Georgia versus, you already did the waiver, or you intended to do it, Mr. Rogers?
It will be a waiver once I get the paperwork from the.
All right, understood. State of Georgia versus Michael Johnson.
State will be ready.
That was you, Mr. Lewis? Did he say pretrial? I couldn't hear.
I couldn't either.
Okay. I'll speak louder.
Yeah, I guess you're far away from the mic or something, because it's catching half of what you're saying.
Got it.
All right, let's see here. It's Mr. Johnson. State of Georgia versus Mark Anthony Manfred Jr.
State will be ready.
Announcing pretrial.
There we go. All right. State of Georgia versus Anthony Maple.
That was a bond waiver previously sent out, forwarded to the court this morning.
All right. State of Georgia versus Aaron Marchant.
State will be ready.
Need to hold on that one, Judge.
All right. State of Georgia versus that's the juvenile. Cheyenne Marshall
Your Honor, my officer,
Yes, ma'am. She's present, ma'am. We have her.
Okay.
Your Honor,
Okay.
my officer has a
Your Honor, my
conflict.
officer
She's
has a
out on
conflict.
FMLA.
She's out on FMLA.
Her leave runs through today.
Mr. Lewis, this is still your case?
It is.
It is.
We're going to ask for the this.
Mr. Lewis, we're hearing every other word.
Sorry, every other word. But we're moving for a dismissal.
Oh, okay. When did she file her FMLA?
Your Honor, I don't know. I can research it and let the court know. I do know that she has been logged on every time this case has been on prior to this.
Okay.
She's been available.
She was.
We'll come back to it.
Okay.
All right. State of Georgia versus Damian Milton.
I think it will be ready.
What's the last name you said, Judge?
Miller.
Yes, ma'am. Pre-trial.
State of Georgia versus Hannah Mitchell.
Good morning, Your Honor. Karen Pass for Hannah Mitchell.
What's the state's announcement?
State will be ready.
We're ready.
Okay. State of Georgia versus Vanessa Monroe.
Your Honor, the same officer as the previous state's announcement. She has a conflict that runs. Your Honor, different officers. This officer, Deputy Williams, court conflict, December the 27th through January the 6th. She is out on sick leave, and Your Honor, I have spoken to this officer, and she was sick the last time I spoke with her.
Your Honor, this case is assigned to Chris Thomas. He sent an email this morning. A.D. Thomas, you can check your email. He's on leave until the 14th of January.
All right, we'll reset it to January 22nd.
Thank you, Your Honor.
State of Georgia versus Kylana Moore.
Yeah, I'm requesting continuance on this case. It's the first time on the calendar.
Any objection, Ms. Thomas?
No objection, Your Honor. Will it be the same reset date?
Yep, 122.
Thank you.
All right, State of Georgia versus Ibrahima Daye.
State will be ready, Your Honor.
Is this a misdemeanor? It has listening and hold on here.
Let me double check it.
Okay.
Not assigned to our office, Your Honor.
Yeah, I think it's a misdemeanor. It's the only charge on the calendar. I didn't see any additional warrants, and it doesn't appear to be a family violence, a felony battery.
Okay, I'll check and make sure it wasn't upgraded before we'll come back to you.
Yes, ma'am.
State of Georgia versus Montoya Noel.
State will be ready.
Your Honor, I need to, I requested a Spanish interpreter. Ms. Tolles is supposed to be present, so when she arrives this morning, I will speak with him and update the court.
Okay. State of Georgia versus Jaden Owens.
State will be ready.
He's a conflict, Your Honor. No attorney is assigned.
All right, 122 for a conflict attorney. State of Georgia versus Jaquez Palmore.
State will be ready.
He advised that he hired Thomas Florio when I went to visit him.
Okay. Yante, could you check on Mr. Florio?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right. State of Georgia versus Maurice Perry. Ashante Maurice James Perry.
State will be ready.
Pretrial.
State of Georgia versus Kurt Pierce.
Good morning, Your Honor. Derek Wright for Mr. Pierce. We'll be ready.
State will be ready, Your Honor.
Um,
Mr. Wright, would you like to have a pretrial with me before we do this?
Sure.
Okay.
State of Georgia versus Edric Rogers.
State will be ready, Your Honor.
Okay, I briefly sent an email. I need to pre-try this case with ADA Thomas.
Okay. State of Georgia versus April Scandrick.
State will be ready.
Pretrial.
State of Georgia versus Jeremiah Simmons.
Your Honor, officer on this case has annual leave from December the 30th through the 31st. State would be requesting a reset.
Judge, that's my case. I'll go ahead and I'll make the motion for the dismissal just so it's clear that it's not a consent continuous if it becomes that. But I also need to speak to Mr. Simmons and see if he wants to just wait for the hearing.
Okay, all right. I'll put it free trial. State of Georgia versus Kentrell Smith.
I'm
State
requesting
will be ready.
continuance on this case, Your Honor.
I'm sorry, what'd you say, Ms. Pleasant?
I'm requesting a continuance on this case.
Any objection, Ms. Thomas?
No, no objection from the state, Your Honor.
All right, January 22nd. State of Georgia versus Seth Walker.
State's ready, officers logged on.
Pretrial.
State of Georgia versus Jamarius West.
State's ready, officers logged on.
It's pre-trial, Judge.
State of Georgia versus Angelia Williams.
State will be ready.
Your Honor, I need to pre-try that with ADA Thomas.
Okay. And the last one I have, no, actually not. All right, State of Georgia versus Casey Williams.
State will be ready.
I need to hold on that one, Judge. And also, Judge, I don't know. I think we might have skipped Keenan Bird. I think that.
What's the last name?
Bird, B-Y.
Oh, I'll come back. We got one more. State of Georgia versus Tommy Wilson.
State's ready, officers logged on.
Pretrial.
Now, does the court have Anthony Wright?
I do. No, unless do you have Anthony Wright? Do you have Anthony Wright, Ms. Thomas?
Yes, ma'am. It's a consent bond. I just wanted to be sure that it wasn't shown. I wanted to make sure the court knew if it was showing on the calendar.
It's not on my calendar.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. All right, and you said Bird, Mr. Rogers, is that right?
Yes, ma'am. Keenan
What was
Bird.
the first name?
Keenan, K-E. I think you called him Christopher Bird.
Yeah, I did, because I marked it with Christopher Bird. What's your announcement for Keenan Bird?
That's a pretrial, Judge.
Okay. That's what happened. All right, so that's everybody that I have on my calendar. There's nobody else that I'm missing, hopefully. All right, so we will, who's this? Somebody announced ready for certain. Oh, that was you, Ms. Pass.
And Your Honor, when you're complete, I do have a question. This is Rita Williams. I'm still on for Shakino Jenkins. I had a question for Ms. Thomas.
Yes, ma'am. Your Honor, Mr. Williams, is it just my email or something like that? Or is it something pertaining to the case?
No, it's something about the case.
So we're about, Ms. Williams, we're about to actually start a hearing. If you need to have a conversation with Ms. Thomas, she's about to be in a hearing right now.
Okay, I'll email her, Your Honor. Thank you.
Okay.
Judge, before the hearing, we have the 3 individuals who didn't want to come participate today, including Mr. Beltran.
Okay, all right. Give me 1 second here.